Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would have a play around with some of the products from Benefit Cosmetics, some of which I have tried before, some of which are totally new to me, and I thought I would give them a go on a client rather than myself so I can give you more of an in-depth voiceover, if you will. So I'm starting out using the Hello Happy Soft Blur Foundation in shade number 2, and I'm applying this pretty generously to my client's face, and then using a kabuki brush I am just blending this out, and I'll later go over that with a beauty blender just to ensure that it is seamlessly blended and there is quite a decent coverage over her face. I found working with this foundation, it was actually really easy to blend out and was quite buildable. You would have noticed at the start of the video my client did have a few imperfections on her skin, but I found that they were covered really nicely with this foundation and it almost did have an airbrushed look. The only downside of this foundation is it does crease slightly, so a little later on in the video you'll find that I am setting her face with a translucent powder just to ensure that there is no movement of this foundation. But besides that, that's all I can fault on this foundation. I've since used it on myself, really happy with it. It's a really nice, what I would call a day foundation. It's nice and light and also has really generous coverage. Once I'd finished blending out the foundation with my mini beauty blender, I am using the Benefit Cosmetics, once again, of course, because this is a one brand tutorial, Boing, I'm not too sure how you pronounce it, but it is the Airbrush Concealer in shade number 1. The consistency of this concealer was like really strange. I felt like it was a mousse, but it was quite creamy and very full coverage, as you can see. Once again though, I did notice there was a bit of creasing, nothing that a little bit of translucent powder couldn't fix, and also my client did have a few fine lines under her eyes, so this generally was going to happen anyway. This is actually one of my best girlfriends, Beth. I have done her foundation a lot of times in the past and I always do have to set her under eyes. I have not used this concealer on myself yet, but I'm definitely willing to give it a go and see how it goes. I don't have to set my concealer every time I use a concealer, so I'd be interested to see if there is any creasing with myself, but it is very full coverage. The color is on point. Beth has actually very fair skin tone, so I was quite impressed to see that both of these shades in the foundation and concealer matched her skin. And as I've mentioned earlier, now I am just setting with a translucent powder from Laura Mercier, just in any areas that I'm feeling need basically to be set. For contour and bronzer, I'm using the Hoola bronzer, the holy grail bronzer, especially for us pale girls out there. I've mentioned in a video in the past, I struggle a lot when it comes to finding the right contour shade. They're either too warm or too ashy, but one of my ride or dies that I have in my kit and also have in my personal makeup case is the Hoola bronzer. As you can see, it just works really well. The only concern that I did have when using this bronzer was that, oh my god, how's it going to sit on a foundation that I know is quite dewy? Is it going to grab? Are there going to be any patchy areas? But it glided on really nicely, so I was really happy with how they both worked with each other. Before I start the eyes, I like to move on to the brows just to shape the face, and I'm using the Brow Contour Pro in shade number 2, which takes me right back to my primary school days, early 2000s. Like, this product is insane, and the precision as well. I honestly thought when I first received this product that it was going to be quite a chunky pencil, but it's not. You can really make almost like fine hair-like strokes. I love it, and I had to ask Benefit if they could send one in my shade because I loved it so much. And then I'm just setting her brows with the 24-hour brow setter to make sure they don't move. Finishing the face, I'm just using the GoGo tint on Beth's cheeks. So I'm just applying a little bit and then blending that one out with my beauty blender. As you can see, this is a stain or a tint, so it does tend to grab colour. You don't want to apply too much or be too heavy-handed with it. It's better to start out small. And you would have noticed when I was applying the translucent powder that I didn't apply it to these areas, only because powder and tints don't work too well together. Next, I'm using the high beam and I'm just blending this out with my finger, and this is Beth's highlighter. It is such a beautiful shade. It's almost like a pearlescent pink. It's just perfect with this look. As you can tell, I'm going very pink, which Beth was not too keen on when I told her, but ended up loving it in the end, of course. Who doesn't love a pink girly look? She ended up looking like a pin-up doll, if I'm honest. Wanted to try something totally different for the eyes, so thought I would give the GoGo tint a try and see how it went. I wasn't too sure because it was a stain. I was a little bit skeptical about how it was going to sit on the eyes, but it actually looked so bomb. So what I've done is just simply applied a dot to the center of her eyelid, and I'm blending that one out very, very roughly with a brush, because in a second I am going to go over the top of that with the Galifornia blush, which is a goldeny pink tone, so it works really well going over the top of the tint, but I am mainly focusing it in the crease just to give it a nice seamless look from the base of the eyelid up to the brow. And finishing off with the eyes, I'm using the high beam again on a brush, and I'm just applying this to the tear ducts just to open the eyes up a little bit more, and using the Roller Lash mascara, which is my new all-time favorite. I have to admit to you, I have been a bad girl mascara lover since it was released. I think it was either this year or last year, and had actually never tried the Roller Lash, and I cannot get enough of it. I've paired that with the Lily Lashes in Goddess, which are so fabulous and just open her eyes right up. And then lastly, I am applying the GoGo tint or lip stain to her lips. And I apply this in 3 stages just to really build up the color. When you first apply it, it's almost a little bit translucent, but once you build it up, it gets quite opaque. That is it for this look, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. It was actually really fun to play around with some of the products from Benefit Cosmetics, especially the ones that I haven't used before. And I'm really loving doing these one brand tutorials on clients to try something different, and also it helps me introduce new things into my kit. But once again, thank you for watching. I will see you in my next video. Mwah!